Right, here we go with our, once again, our fourth edition of Hakuna Matata. And today we got a special guest online as one of our top DJ in the Northeast and nationally, I can say, and worldwide, because with his work he have done a lot. And so it will be a privilege for us today to get inside his life adventure as a DJ. So our culture here, we don't introduce in terms of the names, so we always call the artist first, or they invitate to introduce themselves. Hi, can you introduce yourself?
Steve Teasdale, or Stevie T, as a lot of people know me in the area.
Yes, as we've already introduced you in a format of our culture here. So here we go straight away to our questions. You have seen the Northeast music scene evolves over the decades. What do you think has changed the most both for DJs and the club cultures? To you?
Personally, I think the biggest change that we've seen is sort of like back in the early sort of like 2000s, where you had a situation where a lot of pubs were opening very, very late, and they had late licenses, so that affected the nightclub life. So you did see a lot of nightclubs closing because the pubs were staying open that later. The other change was kind of the smoking in the clubs. I think that sort of drove a lot of people away from going into clubs as well. So that was a big change. And then the other thing is obviously the costs, like anything else, and changes in sort of like lifestyles for people. I think that's how it's changed. For DJs in particular, I think the biggest change over the last sort of maybe 10 years is the digital age. I think that's came into focus a lot more. Where me personally, I started with being a vinyl DJ, and that's where my first love is and always will be.
Yeah, we'll come there. As you cannot go too deep again on that. The question is, the next one is, as you are deepening yourself already, what first pulled you into the DJing, and did you ever imagine it? Will you become a long journey in the industry?
Do you know, at first I didn't imagine myself being in the game as long as what I have done. What first pulled me in was radio DJs. I used to listen to a lot of radio DJs who were playing the music that I was kind of into. So Robbie Vincent, Jeff Young on Radio 1, them type of people. And later on, obviously, the likes of, Tim Westwood, because I like my hip hop. Then you had like Manazik, who used to play a lot of reggae, used to like my reggae. And then later on, obviously, the likes of Big Tom. But what sort of, I didn't expect to be in as long as what I have done. I didn't know where I was going with it at first, to be fair.
Right. Back in the early days, what was the atmosphere like in the clubs and venues compared to today's scene? The atmosphere.
I always come back to this when I'm talking to like our younger clientele.
Yes.
Because they've got no idea how it used to be when we were around and I was DJing, and also when I was clubbing myself. Club life was unbelievable back then. You could go out every given night of the week, and it was busy everywhere, and people didn't care about the image. I think that's clearly one of the biggest things that's happened over the years, and people tend to think a lot more about taking photographs and enjoying themselves.
Mm.
So atmosphere-wise, it was unbelievable. I mean, when you look at the club culture back then, yeah, that was driven a little bit by sort of social drugs, but that wasn't the be and end all. It was the music as well.
Mm.
And everywhere you would go, it was always busy, so you had an atmosphere wherever you went, whether it be a club night or a festival or anything like that. It was always amazing. It's massively changed.
Yeah.
We've lost that now.
Yeah, talking about like, as someone who have played across different era of music, how have the crowd changed in terms of what they want from a DJ?
It's like I go back to what I've just said there. It's more about you know, back then it was all about the music, and there was no caring about you, that you just let yourself go, dance all night long and get sweaty. Now people tend to think that they've got to take photographs of everything. And then the other side of that is like, when it comes to the DJ, the most annoying thing in the world, probably to a majority of DJs, is when people come on, they throw the phone in your face and ask you to play a certain record. Everything seems to be all about, you know, social now. I think that's the biggest thing now. People care about image too much. And they follow trends far too easy as well. It's got a lot worse when it comes to good music. Good music, it doesn't last a long time no more.
Yeah, true. Right. What's been one of the most memorable nights or moment of your career that still sticks with you today?
Too many. I've got too many. I can probably maybe list it 2 or 3 now.
Right.
One of them would be 100% where I had the middleweight champion of the world, the first person, Nigel Benn, to ever DJ in the UK. He DJ'd for me in the Kirk in Yarm. That was an amazing venue. Another one would be Kenny Thomas.
Okay.
And, when I had Kenny Thomas, the famous soul singer, he performed a gig for me. And then another one would probably be Alexander O'Neill. Alexander O'Neill was probably the biggest thing I've ever put on personally on my own event. That was probably the biggest sort of event that I've managed and handled and made a success of. So that's 3. But there's a lot more than that, but it would be too much to go into.
True. So inspiring, very inspiring. So now, getting it from there, for the younger DJ trying to break into the industry now, what advice would you give them that the people often overlook?
I mean, I've coached quite a lot of DJs and things like that, and I think the biggest thing that's missing out of music is because you've got this digital age now where you can just go onto all these social like platforms and you know, the likes of Traxor, Beatport, etc. Buy your music. I think the problem there is that you're just buying for the sake of buying things. You're not looking to how you can affect your music. So the biggest thing I've always said, and probably why I've been so successful as a DJ, is that I learned very early on to program by using my music. And then when you transition into different music from what you currently play, that's also a key area. So know how to take your crowd on a journey. So that's the advice I will pass on to people. I think people need to learn the music. That's the biggest thing for me, that they need to learn the music before they go and start DJing, because far too many DJs just now, they can download the top 100 track source and then they're getting gigs and they think they're a DJ.
Okay.
So know the music, and also get to know the machines and the you know, what you're working with.
Fab. After all these years in music, what still gives you the buzz to get behind the desk and perform? Going to our last questions.
Two things. Even at my age now, and I'm sort of bordering on being over like 40 years in the industry now, DJing. Even now, I still get a buzz off music. So if there's a certain track that comes out or is due to come out and I listen to it and I still enjoy it, I still get a buzz off it and I love it, then that entertains me, but also the fact of me playing in front of a crowd. I love the fact that I'm entertaining people and they're dancing and they're enjoying themselves to what I'm doing, showing my skill set, but also being able to sort of like be part of what their night is as well.
Right. So when people look back on your contribution to the Northeast music scene, you have done a lot. What would you like your legacy to be? That's our last.
Because I'm one of these people who've never had an ego. I don't think I've certainly done that.
Sure.
I wouldn't be level-headed.
I know you myself, yes.
If people just want to look back at what I've done, I would like people to just say, you know, Steve Teasdale was a great DJ, and I think he was a really nice guy. I think he had honesty and integrity. I think that's kind of where I would like people to remember me.
Fantastic. fantastic DJ Teasdale, Steve Teasdale online, one of our top DJ in the Northeast and around the country, worldwide. We really appreciate your time for coming over, because I know you have been working the whole day and come to the mic again. You know, you didn't finish here to take your cup of tea or coffees just to redeem yourself back. So, but I appreciate very much your time. And next time again, we'll speak again so that we can develop more from what you have been giving us through the years. I really appreciate your time, DJ Steve Teasdale. Thank you much, brother. See you next. Bye-bye. Bye. Yes, sir. Yeah, it was very good and very express. You can tell that I've been speaking to a professional.
Yo, you're watching Hakuna Matata.